Welcome to the Gender Finance Podcast. In this series, we sit down with finance leaders to hear their stories. Get ready for honest conversations, fresh insights, and inspiring perspectives on the future of finance and the role of women in shaping it.
Welcome to another episode of the Gender Finance Podcast. I'm very happy to have a very special guest with me today, Francesca Prym. Welcome, Francesca. She's the CEO of UBS Asset Management Europe here in Luxembourg. Francesca has a very impressive career spanning over 20 years. She's also very active here in Luxembourg's Financial Centre, currently serving as the vice chairperson of the ALFI, the Fund Industry Association. And she has a very interesting career spanning over lots of different companies, including managing director at SMBC Nikko Investment Fund Management, head of risk management, conducting officer at MDO Services, and many more. But I won't be talking about these because I want Francesca to tell us about experiences and hopefully we will have a nice conversation. Good morning, Francesca.
Good morning, and thanks for having me today, Jennifer.
Thank you for being here. I think maybe to go straight into it, you've built your career in quite a competitive environment. We often hear that the fund industry is very male-dominated. You don't have many women at the top, or at least at the time when you started your career. Can you tell us a bit about your professional journey and how that journey has shaped the leader that you are today?
I think there are two important elements for me. The one is delegation, and the second one is challenge. Compared to the past, when I see myself today, I don't need to control everything. So I'm a fan of delegation, and not only because delegation means that I can focus on other priorities, but also because if we hire the right people from a technical perspective, they are better than me.
Mm-hmm. They should be better than you.
Correct, correct. And in fact, I'm not jealous. And my role is to motivate them and to help them and to give them visibility, which is key if you want to keep talents. The second one is challenge. We need to have a mix of people in the team who think differently. Otherwise, the risk is to have the same mindset, the same profile, with a high risk of stagnation. And we miss out on fresh ideas and energy that drive a company forward. Mm-hmm. So it's important to have different point of view in order to better understand the expectation of clients and also to manage risk related to investment decisions.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey before? I mean, you got to UBS, I think you started in 2019. But you've had quite a long career before then. Can you take us through a little bit the positions that you've held and what drove you also for change? You know, how did you figure out what you wanted to do also in the asset management industry?
First of all, I have a quantitative background. So I come from risk management, I mean asset management, funds, liquidity and market risk. But a certain time I wanted to do something differently. Mm-hmm. And looking back, I think that in the professional life, like in the private one, by the way, a bit of lucky can play an important role. Mm-hmm. I had the opportunity to apply to become the CEO of Fund Management Luxembourg at that time, Asset Management Europe now. And I have been always clear with myself and with the company. Mm-hmm. And this is something which I also suggest to the next generation. Mm-hmm. Be clear with yourself, define your priorities. Mm-hmm. From a private perspective, my priority is my family, my kids and my husband. And I never faced the dilemma to choose between an important meeting and stay with my sick child. Mm-hmm. And the moment you are clear with yourself, you can discuss with the company. Mm-hmm. And if those expectations cannot be accommodated, it means for me that it's not the right company for you.
Mm-hmm. It's a two-way conversation, isn't it? Like in an interview.
Correct.
You interview the company as well if it fits into your priorities.
And it's also learning by doing. So
Yeah.
you start working for a company, and of course you don't know, and then you learn how to deal eventually with expectations and with challenges, and you decide, do I want to stay or it's better if I leave?
Has also the experience that you've had over your career led you to be, let's say, to setting these conditions? Yeah.
Correct.
So that would also then be, I guess, an advice to younger generation to be very clear about what it is that you want and setting those boundaries at the beginning.
Correct.
Yeah. Interesting. And I think, I mean, talking about this, you are obviously a business leader, you're very influential, you're very active also on the ALFI. Do you consider yourself a role model? Or if you think about it like that, what would you say, how could you kind of showcase things that you wish that you had known at the beginning of your career that you would really like young female talent to know now and to apply?
Role model is a big compliment. On the other side, I'm quite proud about my career, which, by the way, was a sort of combination of being at the right time, right place, with the right people. But then, of course, I had to deliver.
And the right mindset to take the opportunities.
Correct, correct. So if I can suggest something to the next generation, I would say believe in yourself, take ownership of your education and of your career, and the most important point, don't stop learning because things are changing fast.
Talking about change, the asset management industry has gone through quite a lot of changes, probably over the last 20 years where you've been in it. It used to be considered very male-dominated space, especially if you look at portfolio managers, if you look at founders of funds. Would you say that this has changed? Do you see any obstacles for women in the asset management industry today?
I'm quite optimistic on this specific topic. While there is a lot of work to be done, we have noticed a real progress over the past years. So for me, we should look more at the trend than at the single number. Having said that, for the obstacles from time to time come from within. Because I have seen, for example, many women who just decided not to apply for a job opportunity which requires extensive travel. Or they just did not apply because they were not comfortable in fitting the job description. On the other side, we have the men who have more comfort to apply for challenging roles. So this is a change on mindset on which you have to continue working on.
So you're saying that you need active mentorship or guidance for women to essentially drive them into the senior roles.
Correct.
Is that something that you do in your daily life as well?
Correct. So I'm quite active in the market, in all discussions with the next generation, not only women, but in general the next generation, in UBS, but also with the ALFI and with the LPA. And I want to continue supporting women to take on senior roles in order to create a stronger foundation for the future of the sector.
And I guess also seeing more women taking up these roles will maybe make some women more comfortable in taking them in the first place.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Oh, interesting. But maybe if we move on, staying on the topic of the asset management industry, but looking more on the investment flow side, have you seen, or are there any trends also in terms of investors wanting to invest in more sustainable activities, or also, let's say, that have a positive societal impact?
Yes, indeed, there is. In particular, the level of the institutional investors, institutional clients. We see, let's say, different questions compared to the past on the request for proposal, which we receive from our potential clients. While in the past, they focus more on investment return. Now they look also at other aspects, within the company, like, for example, stronger leadership skills. They want to know how we support the employees and also sustainability.
Is that something that is recent or a trend that's been, you would say, for a good number of years?
I would say we see this trend now for a couple of years.
Okay, that's very interesting, because you would probably have considered that in the last 2-3 years there is a bit of a backlash on these kinds of investments, or at least if you read the press, you think that it's not interesting to investors anymore, but you actually see
sustainability more from a corporate perspective, so what we do as company. So here I'm not talking about the investment in funds. There is still an interest, but it's true that it's less than in the past.
No, very interesting. And in terms of the switch, we talked about sustainable, you talked about leadership. So does this also focus on let's say, gender diversity?
Yeah, gender diversity, in my opinion, is key. Because with an agenda, the diversity brings different viewpoints to the investment decisions, for example. And this is key if you want to take the right decision. We need to come to different results from different angles. Otherwise, we will not even able to understand what are the needs of our clients. This is the base.
So actually, when you're designing the products, you already need to have a well-balanced team.
Correct.
Very interesting, because you often think about the end, but not the design stage.
And also because the clients are more and more educated compared to the past, because they have access to thousands of information, they can judge us. And it's important that we understand what they need, not just the capital return, but what they need in terms of services. And we have clients from everywhere, so we need teams also able to understand their needs from everywhere.
Absolutely. And actually, I have one question related also to your experience. So you're now working for a Swiss company, but you have in the past also worked for a Japanese company. Those you would consider very different cultures. How has that experience or the different cultures that you're working in shaped also how you lead?
The communication style is different when I compare a Swiss company with a Japanese one. While when we work for an European company, we can be more direct and transparent. When we want to pass the same information to a Japanese company, we have to adapt our style. That's for me the big difference.
So basically you learned really to adapt to, I guess also today, different clients is a different way of communicating.
Correct. This is also true for clients.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. So I think also maybe a message to others, it's a good lesson to work for different types of companies from different backgrounds, because it will help you later in life as well.
Correct. To adapt to the different situations and challenges as well.
Right. I think now we've come to the section of the podcast, which I find personally very fun, sometimes challenging for our guests, because you never really know what you get. But we usually ask our guests to ask a question to the next guest. So I have a question for you from our previous guest, which was Lise Marie Barnes. She's asking, how do you make sure that you impact or influence this topic, gender finance, beyond your immediate sphere of influence?
I wanted to continue to support women to take on senior roles, because we really need not a change, because we are observing now a change in the market, but you have to continue working on this change to create and to have a strong foundation for the future of the financial sector. We need to encourage you women that even if they don't fit each line of the job descriptions, it doesn't mean that they don't have the profile to take the role. And this is something which I will continue to do with my colleagues at the ALFI, at UBS, and with you as well, Jennifer.
Yeah, very good answer.
Thank you.
Now for the fun part for you. You can ask a question to our next podcast guest. What would you like to ask them?
How do you think that the conversations about the gender will look like in 20 years?
That's a very good question. And I would bet that we would get a different answer depending on who we ask.
Answers. Yeah.
Very good. We'll keep you posted what the answer is.
Thank you.
And who our next podcast guest is. Thank you so much for coming in, Francesca. It's been a real pleasure to talk to you today.
For me as well, my pleasure.
And thank you to our listeners and also those watching on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. We're a few episodes in now, but I hope that you will stay with us, that you subscribe and meet us at the next occasion where we will hear the answer to Francesca's question. See you next time.